talk about it when I'll be a little bit away from the road. This meeting is being recorded. Okay, I continue. Okay, and of course the west side, the beach, the shore. Okay, here this is north, and we are starting our trip going east. Okay, some of the time you will see my path, and some of the time you will see me talking. You tell me what you like the most, and I will adjust to that. Well, basically, it all started with some Jews who couldn't stay in Jaffa. Now, why 110 years ago, 120 years ago, Jews couldn't stay in Jaffa, couldn't continue their life in Jaffa? So basically, it was because one of the laws, I'll walk this way so you can see me better. I will walk backwards. Because of the Muhram law. The Muhram law was a law that obligated the Jews in Jaffa to move every year. Okay, I'll do it this way. Yeah. Every year, Jews needed to move from one apartment to another, and they couldn't lease apartment from 1 year and above. So in the end of the day, Jews are starting to, to be tired of this kind of love because of this muhram law. Muhram in Arabic, in Hebrew, akhrama, in English, expelled. When you expel someone. So Jews said, you know what, we're going to go north. In kilometers, it will be approximately 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer. I would say approximately 1 mile. So some Jews went 1 mile north, and this is where they established this beautiful neighborhood of Neve Zedek. With the years, well, this is now how Neve Zedek started. You see this sky-high building? Well, this is the big difference between Tel Aviv today and Tel Aviv 110 years ago. But we will focus today on the beginning of Tel Aviv. So this is the beginning of Tel Aviv. What you see right here, those little European style one floor apartments, very small, very tiny. It all started with 51 families who decided to move north from Jaffa. Now, not everybody could afford to buy a piece of land and to buy a house in the newborn Tel Aviv, in the new first Jewish city. Okay, because as you know, before Tel Aviv, there was no Israeli cities. There was only, the fourth religious cities: Tzfat, Hebron, Jerusalem, and Tiberias. And Jews lived there mostly. And the first Aliyah members and the second Aliyah members were in little, we call it mushavot, little settlements. Rishon LeZion, Zichron Yaakov, Nes Ziona, Chedera, Gdera, all those little settlements. And of course, kibbutzim and moshavim, who was started to be established during the second Aliyah, during the little bit before the first World War, 1910, that period. So those Jews went off Jaffa, and 51 families came here to Neve Tzedek. And not all of them could afford, as I said before, the possibility to buy a piece of land and to build his house in it. So there was this leader, this great leader in that time, Aaron Shlush. Mr. Shlush had the opportunity, and he could afford buying land for the people, for the Jewish people from Jaffa who didn't want to stay in Jaffa and wanted to move to Tel Aviv. Now, he bought the land for them, and then he rented. So, of course, he was a businessman, of course. But the way of building a community and feeling that he has a kind of obligation to help the Jews moving from Jaffa to Tel Aviv. That was the beginning of Neve Zedek. So 51 families, and the year is 1909, and here we are in the center of Neve Zedek, and this is where it all started. So today, as you can see, modern restaurant and coffee shops, and I will talk shortly about the Suzanne Dalal Center. I will say a few words about the home for dance in Israel. And this is where we are, actually. We are in the Suzanne Dalal Center, which is like the center of Neve Zedek. So a few words about Suzanne Dalal. The Dalal family is a British family, honoring their daughter, actually. They have unfortunately lost their daughter in a young age, and to honor her, to honor her, they bought. Wait, I'm going to turn my camera so you can see the Dalal Center. Okay, very good. So to honor their daughter, they bought the land here, and they've built this center that you see right in front of us. Today, the Dalal Center became a center for culture, musicians, dancers, and of course, as I said, this is like the cultural center of Neve Zedek. So people are sitting here in coffee shop, water fountains. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. So the Dalal family, after buying the land, they've built this pretty cool venue to develop Israeli culture, Israeli music, Israeli dancing. And today it became the center of new modern culture, Israeli culture. A lot of studio dancing. I will give you like some sightseeing about this plaza here in the Dalal Center. So the parents are Suleiman and Charlotte Dalal, and they bought all of this to build this center. All right. But as you can see, the agriculture of this place is the architectural way of building the is like 100 years ago, with a very high level of European influence. For example, this building or this building. Okay, I will stop for a few seconds to talk with you a little bit about this wall here and who are the characters. Okay, so in the center of Neve Zedek and in the center of the Suzanne Dalal Center for Dance and Theater, given by her family to commemorate her love to life. Okay, so let's talk about those people. Not very famous, I might say. Not everybody will know who those people are, and yet they will be on the wall. So these people that I'm going to mention the name, Rabbi Yehuda Elkalai right here, Shimon Rokach right here, and Aaron Shlush that I've mentioned in the beginning, who was the pioneer, the guy who bought the land to the Jews who couldn't afford moving from Jaffa to Tel Aviv. So as you can see, those three guys are on the wall, and usually we are bringing high school students to talk about those leaders who actually are the ones who established the city of Tel Aviv. Okay, so of course these were the oranges, and the port of Tel Aviv that we're gonna say a few words about it later on. And of course, the camels, the Israeli symbols. This is how it used to be 100 years ago. The chariots, um, the, the the train who took people from here to Jerusalem, established in those days as well. And few words about the first gymnasia. I thought Gymnasia Herzliya, it's called Gymnasia Herzliya, but it's in Tel Aviv, and it's the first Jewish school that was established here in Tel Aviv. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna move on. Oh, okay. I have time for that. We will move on because we need to move forward. So as you can see, those buildings here, of course, they are renewed. If you want to have one of the best ice cream, you will come to this place. A nice gelato. Some art on the wall. Very typical to Neve Zedek. Okay. So, as you can see, we are in Shlush Street. I hope you can see it. Oh, you maybe will be able to see it. Will be better from here. Okay. So now you know why they named. I will try to zoom in a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, so in Hebrew it says, מראשוני היישוב העברי ביפו, ממייסדי שכונות נווה שלום, נווה צדק. So basically one of the people who established Tel Aviv, one of the first people, the beginners, the one who established the city of Tel Aviv. So this street that you see right here is the Shlush Street. And something pretty amazing about this guy. Well, it's a sad story, but I will tell it anyway. All his family wanted he wanted to meet all his his children and his grandchildren, and they prepared like a big event, and they were working on this, bringing people overseas, and they wanted to make it like a big family event. And 1 year, 2 years of preparations, and unfortunately, like 2 weeks before the big event, the big meeting, unfortunately, Aaron Shlush passed away, and he didn't make it. Okay, but he did great things for the city of Tel Aviv and the Jewish people. Okay, so now I'll continue our tour in Neve Zedek. Tanya, if there are any questions until now, so please share them with me.
None.
Okay, good. So I'll continue my tour. Now, I want to talk to you while we are walking through the streets. You see, Mr. Shlush is here. While we are walking on the streets, again, the special art of Neve Zedek. Look how nice it is. It's pretty cool. Okay, I want to talk to you now about two things. First of all is the story of the port that I said before that I'm going to share with you. Well, during the riots of 1936 and 1939, basically what the Arabs in Jaffa did when they protested against the Zionists who came in the third Aliyah and the fourth and the fifth Aliyah, and Tel Aviv began to be bigger and bigger. So during those riots of 1936, 1939, one of the things that they did, one of the protests that they that they did was to close Jaffa port. To Jaffa port from different people, the newcomers to Israel came to Jaffa port. Oh, you see? You see? You're not the only one getting explanations about Neve Zedek. Okay. So anyway, they have they closed the port. So the people of Tel Aviv said to continue to Israel, we need to bring goods to Israel. Let's open a port, and this is what they did. So 1 mile from the old Jaffa port, the Jaffa port was closed, like, of course, because of the riots. And the Jewish people who established Tel Aviv and like people like Rokach, like Dizengoff, they've built a port, and they built, of course, a modern port, a bigger port. So then we didn't need anymore. Oh, look at this! Look how pretty it is. Some galleries in Neve Zedek, jewelry stores. It's pretty nice here. So anyway, when the Jews opened the port in Tel Aviv, of course, they were totally independent regarding, of course, not totally, because the British mandate was here. So let's not exaggerate about the word totally independent, but they were more independent when they didn't have to be, they didn't depend on the Jaffa port anymore. Not only that, not only opening the port in 1936, but they have opened as well Zedek Airport. So if you know Zedek Airport, it's on the northern part of Tel Aviv, right next to Ramat Aviv. By the way, this year they have closed Zedek Airport, and they are going to build one of the highest quality neighborhoods of Tel Aviv, real estate, new buildings, because the airport, the Zedek Airport, is really facing the Mediterranean. It's like the first line to the beach. I'm gonna share with you a little bit from this beautiful gallery right here. Another, but you can see how everything is so modern and cool, and all the galleries are really modern, I would say, or up to date. You can say hi to my friends in America.
God bless
How?
America.
Yeah.
How you doing, guys?
You see friendly people having their shops here, eating nice ice creams. And while I'm continue moving east. Oh, by the way, this one as well. This Anita Glidaria is pretty good. As you can see, I know all the ice cream places here. So shortly, I'm going to end. You see, it's not too big. Actually, it's not too big, but because in about 1-2 minutes or so, I'll be ending Neve Zedek. Of course, we didn't do all Neve Zedek because we moved only from west to east, and we didn't do other places. We didn't go east, we didn't go north or south. But why I'm moving forward east, because I want to share with you what happened after the establishment of Neve Zedek. So one of the first, and I will talk about it very shortly in about 1-2 minutes or so. And before that, I will talk about this building right here, that I believe that most of you know. Actually, this is the first high building of Tel Aviv. Used to be named Kol Bo Shalom. Okay, the Kol Bo Shalom is the first high building. Well, not only in Tel Aviv, I would say in Israel. So this is a very historical building right here. We will let the motorcycles go by. And now, as you can see, new high floor, high sky buildings that are, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years old. And Tel Aviv became really one of the, I would say, one of the expensive cities in the world regarding the level of life here, the level of the prices of the apartments, everything in Tel Aviv became extremely expensive because it became a central city. Everybody wants to live in Tel Aviv. Everybody wants to move to Tel Aviv. While I'm speaking, I'm thinking about that my son actually as well moved to Tel Aviv as well. He rented a house with some of his friends. Okay, so right here, it's the end of the Zedek. Okay, so this street basically ends Neve Zedek, ends the first neighborhood of Tel Aviv, and now we're going out of Neve Zedek to Rothschild Avenue. And Rothschild Avenue is extremely important to this region. And why is the Rothschild so important? Because that was the expansion of Neve Zedek. This is where they continued to build after the beginning of Tel Aviv, as I said, in 1909. After 10, 15 years, they expanded east. They didn't go south toward Jaffa in the beginning. They went east. And what you see here is the beginning of Rothschild Avenue. Now, Rothschild Avenue today became the center of Israel and of course the center of Tel Aviv. In the end of Rothschild Avenue, you have, of course, Abima Square, Abima Theater. And right now, we are starting our quick visit in Rothschild Avenue. Not before, I will share with you another amazing piece of art that was made right here. We call it the Independence Trial. מעיר עברית למדינה עברית. So from the first Hebrew city, Hebraic city, to the Hebrew state. And you will see that there is like an historical path from the first neighborhood in Tel Aviv to the place, the actual place where David Ben-Gurion in May 14, 1948 declared, "Anu machrizim bazot." Yeah, we declared the declaration, the independence declaration. So now I'd like to share with you a piece of art of our one of the greatest artists of Israel. He called it Tel Aviv Aktana, Little Tel Aviv. And Nahum Gutman had the mosaic of the establishment of Tel Aviv, basically. So I'm going to share with you some of it. Each and every mosaic, each and every piece of those mosaics tell a different story. Some of them are biblical. Some of them tell the story of Tel Aviv. For example, I will zoom in a little bit. I will take just one example. So what you see here, it's the beginning of Rothschild Avenue. In the end, the top of it, you will see a building. This is Gymnasia Herzliya. This is like the first Hebrew academic gymnasium school in Israel. Okay, so basically each and every piece of those mosaic arts tells a different story. Okay, and I will continue to share with you this amazing the Aliyah story, the newcomers who came with ships like this. We're talking mainly to Tel Aviv. It was the fourth Aliyah and the fifth Aliyah during the 30s, when things in Europe started to be dangerous. So we're facing the fourth and the fifth Aliyah in the beginning of the 30s, while people escaped from the horrors that happened not long after. Oh, the chariot, Rothschild chariot. Ah. Well, they call it Achuzat Bait. This is the first name of Tel Aviv, Achuzat Bait, Odev Nech Benivnet. You were built and still continue to grow and to get bigger. Okay, a few words about Rothschild. We have even a parking lot, not only an avenue. Rothschild, Chenyon Rothschild. Yeah. Well, Rothschild basically came to Israel as a businessman, and then he became Zionist. In the beginning, he felt like it was a. Oh, we have a show. Oh, we have a show. Enjoy the show. Well, in the beginning, he was a businessman. He wanted to invest. He wanted to build wineries, which he did in Zichron Yaakov, in Rishon LeZion, and step by step, little by little, year after year, he became a true philanthrope, a true Zionist, and fell in love with this Zionist idea, and helped um, um, to buy land, to open factories, wineries, whatever the Jews here before the establishment of Israel needed. So today, you see, even the French have built an Institut Français d'Israël. So we have French patisseries, yeah, French culinary place, some baguettes. So even the French are investing in Tel Aviv. I will wait to the green light, and I will take you to Rothschild 16. And Rothschild 16 will end our tour with the declaration. So I'm going to show you the building where David Ben-Gurion and our other leaders of the Jewish people at that time that took the decision, even though I must say that because Truman and Marshall, Secretary of State and the President of the United States, actually told Ben-Gurion to wait with the declaration. That was very clear that we are going to face a brutal attack from the local Arabs and of course the Egyptians and the Syrians and the Lebanese, and that was a major leadership decision to take the decision of the declaration, even though the Americans told them not to do so, and not only that, even here his colleagues running the government of Israel in 1948 told them, listen, maybe we should wait. We cannot declare a state that we cannot defend, etc., etc. So actually, David Ben-Gurion, right here, right here in May. Now imagine this situation right here in this building. By the way, this is a Rothschild there. No, this is Mayor Dizengoff. This is Mayor Dizengoff statue, one of the establisher of Tel Aviv as well. So can you imagine May 14, 1948, the British last day of the British mandate, because the British left the day after, May 15, 1948. But either how, in this building, that as you can see are under constructions because they want to renew it, they want to reopen it to the public, they want to open it as a museum. So here in this building, David Ben-Gurion is facing one of the critical leadership decisions that he ever made, or I think, you know, to declare a state when everybody is telling you not to do so, when the odds are against you, when you are surrounded by enemies that are willing just to penetrate Israel and to exterminate Israel. And by the way, it happens. I mean, everybody was right about this forecast, but Ben Gurion stood up here and you know, as we say in Hebrew, the Ashar Historia, and the rest is history. And if I will continue a little bit, I will turn my camera. As I said, Rothschild Avenue goes all the way east, but we will be ending our tour right here. Okay. So if there are any questions, any things you would like me to emphasize, to go a little bit deeper, we have 10 minutes to have a little discussion about it all.
Okay, so I have a question for you. With all the construction and all the high rises and all the skyscrapers that Israel's building in Tel Aviv, and with the last, I guess, mini war that you had like about a month ago, how is it that, that they're building all these high rises, and how are they able to protect, all of these buildings with all of the rockets that were bombarding Israel?
Anya, thank you. Thank you for your question, because this is so not obvious that we will have the ability to protect our cities that are deliberately targeted by Hamas regime, by the terrorists of Hamas. Now, why it's not so obvious? Because you need to understand, since the full disengagement from Gaza into, I will get a little bit away from the waterfall here. Since the full disengagement of the IDF and the state of Israel from Gaza in 2005, they have basically the ability to do whatever they want to do in Gaza, because there is no presence of IDF in Gaza. So if they want to build an underground in Gaza, they will do it. If they want to bring ammunition to Gaza, they can do it. So, and this is what happened during those years. Since we left Gaza, Hamas gets stronger and bigger and stronger and bigger, got more and more ammunition, more precise rockets, and they became a very strong organization, because they can do whatever they want to. We're not there. When I was a soldier during the 80s, we were there. They were occupied to be afraid, to hide, not to build a frightening terror organization. Now, what Israel is going to do now? We cannot infiltrate Gaza. This is the international community is going to crucify Israel about it. We cannot, because not only that. Since we went out, it's so difficult now to get back in. It doesn't make any sense. So why you went out in the first place without a peace agreement? But we leave this on the side right now. So Israel needed to think how can we protect ourselves? Since our neighbors are terrorists, how we can protect ourselves? What we can do? And then they came with the Iron Dome idea, which is really science fiction. I mean, can you imagine launching rockets to meet rockets in the sky and to exterminate the rockets that are launching from Gaza towards Tel Aviv and towards Israel? It's really science fiction. And the IDF and the Air Force, together with the US, were able to defend the citizens of Israel. So this is actually the unbelievable story. The fact that we have this defense, we have the ability to protect our citizens, our buildings, and during the last operation, few hundreds of missiles were launched from Gaza towards Tel Aviv. I'm not talking if you had 10, 20 rockets. I'm talking few hundreds of rockets were launched towards Tel Aviv, and thanks to the Iron Dome defense system, we had minor casualties. While Israel, when we retaliate and when we never target citizens, unfortunately, sometimes we do have casualties of civilians because they are using their civilians as human shields, actually launching from hospitals, launching from schools, launching from mosques, whatever. And we are trying, and so why Israel got thousands of rockets? Because sometimes even when we know that we are going to be under a rocket attack, we're trying to avoid civilian casualties as much as we can. This is our moral, this is our army, and this is who we are as a people. We are not we don't want to hurt any kind of innocent people that are getting used by the organization to be human shields. So the answer to you, Tanya, is definitely the Iron Dome system. What the genius those people are actually genius saving Israel actually every day.
All right, thank you for the answer. Does anybody who is with us, you want to chat out a question or just ask a question? Because we have just a few more minutes.
We have a question. What's the population in Tel Aviv?
Okay, so right now in Tel Aviv, well, you got me on this one, and I would say approximately 500,000 people. What we're talking about Tel Aviv, we're talking Tel Aviv, Jaffa, Ramat Gan. It's definitely one of the two largest and biggest cities in Israel. So imagine that, from 51 families, 110 years ago, to approximately 500,000, 600,000 people. We call it Tel Aviv Rabati. Tel Aviv and the suburbs of Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan, Givatayim, Yafo, very crowded, because you can see how the buildings are going up high, because there is no land actually. So when you don't have enough land to build, you know how tiny Israel is, so you're moving up. So I would say approximately 500,000, I would say.
Thank you.
Ken, I see you chatted a question, but I'm not sure what the question is. Do you wanna unmute yourself and ask?
Surely. How are you? Thank you very much. It's been a while since I've been in Tel Aviv, and I know it changes every day. I would like to know if you're doing any preservation, as we do here in the States and in Milwaukee, of some of the old buildings, because it appears, since I was there in 2012 and 13, a lot of buildings are gone. So therefore, will there be a preservation society?
Thank you for the question. Yes, the question is yes, it is an issue, and I will tell you why it's an issue. Because you have some real estate sharks you have some really high positions here in Tel Aviv that people are willing to pay millions of dollars just to get a piece of land, and through that demolished an old building. But as you can see, thank God, the most important ones, as I'm going to share with you, as I did a few minutes ago, the most important ones, for example, this one right here, the Israeli government insists not to sell it to anyone and preserve, as you asked, the historical pieces of Tel Aviv. But unfortunately, I must say, a lot of the history of Tel Aviv is we're under a real estate attack, actually. So some of the buildings, some of the old buildings, we couldn't preserve, and they're gone.
Oh, that's unfortunate that they aren't doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely, as an historian, I can tell you that I definitely agree with it.
You got to get all the people mad, then maybe they'll do it.
Oh my gosh, when you were in front of the Dalal Center, so now I'm sharing a little bit of my family history. My mom actually went to school there. So before it became the Dalal Center, it was a school. It was called Bet Sefer Livanot B'nai Neve Zedek, and my mom was there in 7th and 8th grade. It's kind of crazy.
Thank you, Tanya. Interesting.
Does anybody else have any? What? Yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions? If not, then we will let David cool off, because David told me it's like it's like 90 plus degrees plus 100% humidity, and probably needs a good like cold bottle of water.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll get used to it.
Oh my gosh, this was great, David. Thank you so much.
My dear friends, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope you find it interesting, and I hope to see you again soon.
You will in a few weeks.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.